Alrighty, let's see it. Hi everyone, Will here, Noob Engineer Thingamabob. Today, we'll be going ahead and discussing a rotating cow solution set for our wind tunnel simulation. Today, we'll be looking at this beautiful cow in this CAD model here. I will try to do some external aerodynamics against it right quick. Now, we'll try our best at the end of this series to go ahead, run a quick RAN simulation on this moving reference frame and see if we can capture just some very general flow field characteristics out of it. It won't be a very good simulation because the cow, as you can see, has a lot of these small details that are near it that RANs will not be able to capture at 1 radians per second. Okay? Also, the cow will be a scaled down model, which will not have the same dynamic parameter or dynamic similarity parameter that's needed to adjust for the full scale model, meaning that as I change the length of the cow, it won't be the same level of, say, quote unquote, turbulence or an energy cascade, if you will, that will be shedding from the cow as I move up my planes, these planes over here, plane 1 and plane 2, to be larger and larger scaled for the cow to be longer and longer and longer. Speaking of the cow, I'd like to give a quick shout out to this guy over here. You can follow him at his link over here, as I grabbed his cow model from his model here. So big thank you to this amazing man over here for providing us with this amazing cow simulation. Or not simulation, but the cow CAD model. This thing here. Now, in order to go ahead and find out what this would look like, we need to first parse this CAD model, this ITP, into something that we can read with an ANSYS, and then we need to go ahead and fix a few discontinuities, remove a few layers, and a few features that just aren't needed. To do that, we can save this CAD file, which is currently a SolidWorks part. We can go ahead and save it into a separate folder. I will call this one export, let's say. And we can go ahead and save it as a STL or a step file or whatever have you. I'll save it as a step file and see if that works first or not. So let's save it. As we move forward with the series, one thing to note is that we only have one core on the virtual machine that we are using the CAD for. Now, that can be a little bit problematic. The reason why it's problematic is because with only one core, some of the steps that we'll be doing requires multi-threading, and it was assumed at the time of starting this one on like your local PC, let's say, that you were able to at least dedicate between 8 to 16 for one of these guys, but right now that might not be the case. Or maybe it doesn't matter actually for the CAD too much, but later on during the simulation process, we'll definitely need to optimize it considering that we only have one core. Now, I already have an IPT version of this file loaded in just to test it before the stream. But I'd like to go ahead and see what it would look like with this one over here, an STP file instead, and see if we can go ahead and get it here. Now, my documents are a little bit out of sync, let's say. But if I do recall correctly, it should be this folder. Yeah, this folder. Okay. Now while that loads in, I'm going to go ahead and respond to a quick email I got. And I'll be right back in about, say, 20 or so seconds. Sorry, I just need to quickly grab this email now. Sorry, this will take just one more second. Sorry, one sec. I'm still writing to them. Sorry. One more minute. Sorry. Oh, here we go. And ta-da! Yay, it's sent. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Alright, so let's load in this step file and see if it'll accept it or not. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Wrong buttons. I'm pressing the wrong buttons, lads. Uh-oh. Alright, let's open this up. Now, I'll browse for a quick one like this one. We can quickly go ahead and open up the author file here under the mesh file. Now, if I understand this one correctly, this one should be able to open up and import this project. So, let's see it now. I'm curious. This'll take just a minute. Again, we only have one core, so things will take quite some time for them to load sometimes. But I promise you, it will load eventually, and things will pass. Alrighty, rev up your engines. There we go. Awesome. Now we don't need this cage in the front. So the first step is just to simply remove unnecessary geometries. Great. So we remove those. And we can also delete these as well. Awesome. Next up is to move your coordinate system to somewhere that this cow would be convenient to examine at. So for example, because the cow is so far behind over here, we should probably be moving the coordinate system, say, down here, let's say. Now, I am very rusty actually, and I actually did forget the command on how to do that, to be honest. Let's see if I can remember it right quick before having to go to Google. So, let's go ahead, move the cow, and see where we can get it. One thing you can do is, maybe this is not so appropriate, but I believe if I understood it correctly, this should be able to have a selection piece to move the coordinate systems here. So, let's see it. Okay. Sorry, it's been a few. Let's think for a minute. So, I can just simply paste you over here, yeah? Maybe not. Sorry. Copy, and then let's go ahead, see what we can do. Okay. So no, I cannot remember it, to be honest. So that's okay. That's fine, to be honest. We don't really need to change the coordinate axis anyways. It's kind of a It would be useful if we could, but I'm kind of lazy. We don't have a lot of time left, so let's go ahead and start to pull out. Oh, never mind. No, you can move it. Hold on. I think I'm cooking. Let's go. Alright, so let's keep on moving it forward. Oh, yeah, this is the pain of having only one core, is that it doesn't really want to respond to you that much. Now, one thing you can do now is to fill out this part here to make the cow flush with your z-axis and x-axis. Now, before we go further, I actually do want to do one more thing. I want to share this little stream URL with some random people I had from school, just to make sure that they all know that I am here. Promised stream. There we go. Okay, now we are ready. Now, this cow, because it's levitating above the floor, that's not very ideal because we want to set up a wind tunnel at the floor. So our coordinate axis, if we can, should be near the feet over here. So let's move the cow to the floor now. So that way we don't have any excess space when we eventually set up our floor. It's not necessary. Our plane will be set below the cow in any case, but it's just going to make it easier on us eventually. Now, this will make sense later on in the stream when we do a moving reference frame. That way we can work with axisymmetric coordinates later on when we transfer our coordinate systems. Now this isn't fine for now. Now, first step, after we've gone ahead and removed the, like there used to be, for anyone joining now, a little cart that was in front of this cow. We've removed it. So now we have removed excess geometries. Let's see now in the structural steel mesh of the cow. Let's see just on a quick examination if there's anything external to this one that we need to remove as well. Now, technically speaking, we can do a vertex reduction for the cow tip over here. I can already tell that these triangles here are going to be problematic eventually when we set up our viscous boundary layer. And I can already tell from these middle chunks here, we will definitely need to do a mesh refinement. But for now, I think that this is a good enough mesh to at least start on the first pieces, which is to first find if we can find any geometries that can be combined. So do we notice any errant gaps? Like let's look here in the mouth. Is there a gap that we should be addressing now? No, I don't believe so at least. Let's look first at the eyes and the sockets. Is there any discontinuities in the mesh? We actually have tools that will check for us, but I just wanted to examine it visually before we go on. Great. Let's now go ahead and start a repair on our mesh then. Now, ANSYS is very simple in this case. We can simply check just by checking the geometry through inspect. But before we do that, I will go ahead and quickly see if there's anything that we need to do immediately before we go to the check geometry. Some examples could be, are you missing faces? If so, let's try to find it. We'll detect these angles here, and highlighted in red are your angles and pieces that are missing their faces. Now, how the checker believes, I believe how it works at least. I haven't checked the documentation to be honest. But I believe that there is at least to some faces where there's a maximum angle before they become disconjointed. And there's also a maximum distance that you have as well. Depending on which scheme you're using, and depending on the resolution that you're trying to seek, maybe this can be somewhat loosened in tolerance. But we already have these severe sections near where this neck and the main body of our geometry is meeting. I'm thinking that that is not a good idea right now. So what we can do is we can run a patch command, which is already done by default for us. And we can go ahead and we can try to go ahead and select the geometry to be patched. This means that wherever you see these two vertices, let's go ahead and see if we can close them pretty much. So let's select. Oh, sorry. It's been a while. Okay. So let's try a fill command instead. Now, let's see if I remember how to do this. It's been a while, so it might not be something that I remember too terribly well. But let's go ahead and try to complete this fill command now. Okay. It's been a while. I might have forgotten how to do it, to be honest. I have actually forgotten what the exact selector was. I think it was, here. We can go ahead and try manually doing it, actually, I think. So over here, I believe, was the intersection, but honestly, I think for now, it should be A-okay. But, I think it's these hotspots here that's not being able to be filled yet. So rather than trying to dwell on this topic, let's just call it okay-ish for now, and then we'll go ahead and recheck this thing later on. Next up, you want to check for split edges. So as this description says already for us, you want to detect and fix coincident edges that do not mark your boundary. That means that, for example, I think it'll be more clear when we run it here. Exactly. So in this case, these do not mark any boundaries for these next adjacent cells, if that makes sense. So if I zoom in, we can see that, for example, between here and here, between these two triangles, it's quote-unquote split, if you can see it, along with this triangle and this triangle, this triangle and this triangle, etc., and etc., etc. So as you can see, near the nose of this cow, there's a lot of these split edges, which is where these coincident points between these two planars are not quite connected, if that makes sense. Not quite aligned, I should say, perhaps, alongside with the hind legs of the cow. Now, what we can do here is we can try our best to fix up these split edges. Excuse me. And see what happens. So that's the first initial reduction, and we see a great reduction, but right now I don't see it, to be honest. Let's go by maximum length. Okay. I'm more concerned about the length here, because I already know in advance that this has a lot of curvature. Same for missing faces. I just remembered how it works, actually. Let's select not by maximum curvature, but rather by the maximum distance later on. Okay. And for extraneous edges, it seems that we have none. That's good. I don't think you'll have any duplicates, so I'm not too terribly worried about the duplicate section. Next up, we'll be checking in the curves, and we're going to go ahead and see how everything will be aligned from there. I may have just crashed this all because, again, it's all in one core. So there's a few multi-threaded processes that might be glitched out from just one core. And also because there's a few performance issues as well. So let's see it and see where we're at. I think it might have crashed, actually. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So this is the problem with working on virtual machines, is that you need to pre-allocate a certain amount of processors to them. Using Georgia Tech VLab, by default, they're using one processor, so, or not one processor, but one core, I should say. So we need to. We probably need to restart, to be honest. That's fine. We didn't really do much, to be honest. I am perfectly okay with restarting this discovery file, so for me, it's not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and restart now, okay? Yes, end please. Now, let's see. Don't worry about it. I'll quickly go ahead and grab the CAD back to the original state we saw it before. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip explaining the steps that we just went through. That way I can go ahead and get us started again really fast. I forgot to save because I didn't expect it to crash so early, but that's okay. I have no fear about it, so I think we'll get back in a pretty short amount of time. Alright, give me like say 3 minutes to get it back. Sorry. And I accidentally opened up the STP file, I think, from earlier, from the stream. So this will take a little bit. So let's get started. Okay. This may take just a second. Just a little bit longer. Alright, just repeating the same exact steps as before. Delete all the excess geometries you don't need. Alright, move your coordinate system to something that's at least somewhat relatively convenient. So in this case, I will be probably shifting over the view zoom to this guy. I'll be moving this guy over here. And we will try our best to move this coordinate system a little bit forward. Okie dokie. Alright, let's see it. Yes, correct. Now, again, from before, let's go ahead, stitch everything together, and then let's do it. So, first step, maintain all the components. Yes, that's good. I already know in advance that because we're going at 1 radians per second and the length of this cow we want to simulate is just a few dozen centimeters, this should be fine. Let's check for some coincidence. Okay, fine, okay. Check for a gap. Okay, none. Any missing faces? Yes, there's some missing faces, just like before. We can fill out a patch command and see if that'll work or not. And if it doesn't work, I think that it shouldn't be that bad. Now, here. There we go. So, fix up some split edges. Let's check for a maximum length, because to us the curvature is fine. And we see that there's actually not much to correct in this case. So I'll just skip it for now. But that could be a wrong move actually later on. And I'm sure that during the debugging process, we'll go ahead and discover some bugs in what we're doing today right now. So, before we go on, let's currently save just in case it crashes again. I will browse in my mesh file. I'll call this one the clean mesh. Or not clean mesh, I should have named it clean step, but it's whatever. This isn't the mesh just yet. This is just the cleaning process first. So Now let's go ahead and try to see if there is anything we need to check for these pieces here. Curve caps? No. I think 0.1 millimeter should be fine for the reduced scaling of the cow, but I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I would probably assume so because we're going to be doing a scaling of about a half meter to the 3 meter assumed cow. Duplicate curves? It's fine. Small curves? It's fine. Anything for merged faces? Nope, nothing. Small faces. Okay, now this is the trickiest one, I think. You don't want to remove all the faces, so you don't want to make this one super duper large, or this one super duper 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 extra small. We want to reduce really small faces in the cat. But I think that the guy that made this did a really good job, actually. Kudos to him. Now let's see if we can simplify any curves. Maybe. I think that this one is a little bit tricky, actually. When they say simplify, they mean it by this description here. You want to simplify it into planes, cones, cylinders, lines, arcs, and etc. But I don't think we necessarily want to do that, because if we do that, you're going to lose a little bit of detail. A little bit. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit. And so, as you can see by highlighting the whole cow in red now with what it'll be replacing, this could be a little bit of a mistake, what we'll be doing soon. So I will click yes to see what happens, but there's a part of me that knows that what you will find may not be correct necessarily. It depends on your application, and it depends on which scheme you're going to be using, and it depends on what you want to capture. I'm going to simplify it anyways, and we're going to see what happens. But there's a part of me that knows for a fact that this might not be the correct step. So let's try it. So right now, it's hard to see, but these blue dots are currently cleaning up some of the adjacent currents, each step that it's like ticking each. So for each iteration, I need to read the documentation actually on how that worked. But I do believe that it should be weighted by node size and then area, so it's a little bit weird to see. So let me go ahead and get out of this view. So as you see from before, it is a little bit oversimplified in some aspects. Here, let me actually move out of this face as soon as we are done processing. So, for example, I don't know if you guys recalled earlier from the stream, but some of these faces that were simplified, like as you see here, were maybe something that we wanted, but I think that it may have been removed without these steps, for example. Now, for the inexact edges, we want to go ahead and find this description here for you guys. You want to detect and fix any of these edges that do not precisely lie on its intersect. That means that if I zoom in and I find these pieces, for example, we can see that it does not exactly lie on the intersection that you'd expect it to if we zoom in. Like this, for example, this red line. So we want to fix those right quick. Let's see what happens. This doesn't always fix itself, but we can try. Now keep in mind that when we fix up this geometry, quote unquote, that's not really going to fix necessarily what you want to see. This is just simply going to converge a few points that, as you see from here from these errant points, are just automatically detected, but they couldn't be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So that's not to say that what we're doing here is the best. It's just to say that what we're doing here is hopefully to reduce the amount of debugging steps we have to do. And that would be about it. Now, we're on the simplify step, but that's not a guarantee that it'll be the geometry that you need or want. So for example, now I can exit this and then we can see the simplified version of the cow. So as you can see, even though it's greatly simplified, you have lost a little bit of details, like for example here at the shoulder. It's a little bit. It doesn't matter for this case, because we just want to see a general parameterization of it. But just know for future reference, that might not be the correct move. Depending on what you have. It's always in context. Always in context. Because we just simplified it, you've moved some of the line weighting. So we need to redo that step too as well. Next, we can just check the geometry. See what's up. So here we have a few informatics. But we have nothing serious on the red part, which is a critical error. Nothing on the warning part. So right now, we just have these, for example. So there are 13 edges that are inexact and not lying on the face, which is right here on the udders. So let's see it. That means that when we take a look at these udders, let's say, well, as the description says, and this is why I really love the ANSYS team sometimes, is that they are not lying on the same face that you expect them to. And that's to be expected here. Here, highlighted in yellow, are the edges of these curves. I'll try my best to zoom in so you can see it with me. They're not here. They're not exactly aligned to what you would expect. And in my opinion, I think that that might cause an issue later, but for now I'm going to ignore it. I think that this mesh should be cleaner, but it's not ready yet. So let's save what we have right now and try our best to go ahead and fix up some of the other stuff now. So we've checked the geometry. Great. Now we can get started with dividing the cow into separate faces that we might need. So let's do the following assumptions to reduce our computation time. We can assume that the cow is in subsonic flow. So we don't need to adjust for any flow lines that are needed for any Mach lines for the discontinuous scheme. Right now, we're only going to be dealing with subsonic flow. So no need to separate out this into a few separate meshes for this discontinuous. Second of all, I'm going to be looking at the cow purely from, let's see, I'll be looking at this in a axisymmetric wind tunnel relative to the center of the cow rather than the center of our Cartesian lab frame. So that means that I am going to go ahead. Here, I'll show you guys the volume, please. We want to go ahead and we want to create an enclosure for that wind tunnel. That way we can go ahead and start to define where exactly we're at in terms of that wind tunnel. So where are the walls? Where is the incoming planar flow? And etc. To do that, we can generate. By the way, generate will be inside of this tab here where it says generate. A volume enclosure, I believe it was. Or no, not volume enclosure, but you want to create a enclosure for a wind tunnel simulation. So we don't want to do a cushion. By the way, you can choose different shapes for your enclosure if you want to. For us, we're just going to do a box, a symmetric box if you wanted to, but I'll just define it manually since our coordinate frame is a little bit messed up. We want to create a custom shape, and we want to find it at the following dimensions. So first let's use First, let's use this guy as our piece over here. Sorry, wait a minute. Sorry. I just realized. I need to check a few more things actually. We need to create another enclosure based off of the. Let's see. Is the orientation relative to the lab frame? Sorry, I forgot to check. Yes. Okay, sorry. So that means that. Okay, we need to create the enclosure through. Sorry, let me first look through this guy. Yes, there it is. Okay, sorry, I was tripping. I was trying to check for where our solver was over here. Fluent, by the way, is the actual super duper epic beans part, I guess you could say, of what you wanted to see. Right now we're doing the boring cat check part, and I was just double checking where that was. Okay. I keep on forgetting. I'm sorry. I keep on forgetting where exactly the enclosure is defined at. So let me first. Here. Let me first select the cow object, create an enclosure around that one, and then see what we can do. Now, I keep on forgetting what the how do we define it? Shoot. This is embarrassing. Let's see. Is it the Alice frame? No, I think you should be fine. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm just quickly checking through a bit of shared topology right quick, just to double check on the cow. Seems pretty good to me at least. Let's see. Okay, that's good. That makes sense. It's a single body mesh, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to quickly share whatever is in here, just in case. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm just going to pre-check as well. Okay. Okay, there's a few free edges. So again, these are the ones that we failed to fill in earlier, and these ones are the free vertices that we saw. So there's not really much I can really do about that, I think. Oh well, whoopsie daisies. Sorry, I'm gonna have to look this one up actually. I forgot how to do a predefined cushion. I actually need to look that up. Let's see. Alright guys, I'm gonna turn off the camera for 1 single second, and then I'll go ahead and be right back. Let's see. How do I... Is it this? Yeah, okay, so it's off now. Okay, I need to Google this. Whoopsies. How to create an enclosure in ANSYS Discovery. Enclosure prepare tab. Okay. That's a weird thing, yeah. No, I don't know why it's not, okay. Sorry, 1 second. Alrighty, this might take just a second. Let's see.
Enclosure, and then by pressing left mouse button, draw a box to surround the car. For the dimensions of the enclosure.
No, I wasn't tripping at all. Wait, why is it not? Huh. That is actually kind of weird. It must be because you're defining it as a frame instead of a actual CAD model, so it doesn't really have much of a reason to be defined as anything else outside of it. No, that's weird. That's actually really weird. Let me set visible the Alice frame, and then I'll mute the frame Ultima, and then that should be fine, right? Here, I'll turn on my camera in just a second. I just need to
We can
double
either
check.
use to create an enclosure around the car. In the Prepare tab, select enclosure, and then by pressing left mouse button, draw a box to surround the car.
Huh. Interesting. Alright, I'm back. So, the problem right now is that your cow, this thing over here, is not really being split open by this enclosure, if that makes sense. So, what you need to do, at least from what I understand, is define this one not by these frames, but you need to find out how it's going to be defined with this piece. So, that means that this one is a little bit more painful. You should be able to create an enclosure around a solid CAD geometry. I think though that this has not been imported properly actually. I say that because I think that this is not correct. Let's see. Ah, I see. Okay, so here's the thing. You're displaying the 3D model, but that might not be the correct one. So if I come here to this tutorial, for example, if I say car, this is the whole complex for the whole distribution here. That means that for whatever thing I choose here, for example, let's say, technically speaking, I should choose something like this perhaps, where I should have all the subcomponents No? I'm sorry. Shoot. I'm not actually sure what's going on. Um, one sec. Let's see it. It's a certainly interesting problem, though. I can't seem to get the topology to work for this guy for the enclosure. I'll have to be right back. I'm not sure what's happening. No, it's actually very interesting. Let's see. So, interesting. I'll be right back in a few seconds, but that should be something actually. I'll be right back. Alrighty, let's see it. So, I'm still unable to determine the root cause of the issue, to be honest. I don't think that this is necessarily exported correctly, actually. It looks like to me, at least, that when you exported this model, for example, let's look at the original CAD for a second. This is a surface body, right? Right. Now, if it's a surface body, I wonder. This implies to me that maybe we shouldn't have just exported the surface. We probably should have exported the whole CAD. So that's an error on my end. It's fine. Let's think about this a little bit carefully then. Let's choose. Instead of doing a surface, let's do I wonder if it's possible to create an enclosure around a surface rather than an imprint. I think that for this cow over here, I am just going to go ahead and try my best to use an enclosure around this first part here. I want to set a boundary condition around its edges like this one. So I would select this cow, right? What if I deselect the surface? No, okay, so okay. We probably shouldn't have used the surface wrap for it. In this model here, let's open up the same cow, but let's try our best to find one that is maybe not an IPT. Maybe you can try exporting as oh, I'm not sure actually, to be honest. Hmm. Tricky, tricky, tricky. What can I do? You can try looking up this. Now, maybe you can extract a volume from it instead. We will go ahead and select all the faces, like so. No? Maybe you can do this one instead. Shoot. Okay. Well, I unfortunately don't know what to do, to be honest. Alright. Well, I think that's a problem for another day. I'll see you guys in the next one. I think I'll have to call it quits on this part, since I can't really make any progress right now. Uh oh, I already ran into my issue first, and I haven't even ran any simulations. Uh-oh, whoopsie daisies. Let's think. Okay. So if all of this is just a surface, right? Convert surface to solid in space claim. Let's see. I think that the whole reason why it's not working right now is because you are using a surface.
Body fails to pull. Let's identify the reasons of failure and fix them. At first, let's check the surface body for any errors. I will right click on the body and select check geometry option. There are no problems reported in the geometry. Next, let's perform repair operations on the surface body. In repair tab, I will select stitch tool to identify any edges that are touching. The stitch tool has identified one location. I will fix this region. Next, I will check if there are any gaps in the body. The gap tool did not encounter edges using the split tool. The tool has identified a couple of locations. Either fix them or definitions. The tool has identified one face. It can be seen that the surface body now gets successfully pulled to solid using the pull tool.
Ah, I see. Very well. So, okay, that makes sense actually. Let's design. Let's pull out the surface. Let's add, if we can, 1 millimeter or so of it. And let's okay. Hmm. Okay. I think we will have to edit the CAD model itself because this is a surface, right? So that means that whatever I get to choose here, the surface piece, we're gonna have to fill, I think. Let's think about how we can do this wisely. Um, hmm. I'm not sure, to be honest, what to do for it. Yeah, no, I really don't know what to do to fill it. It's a little bit much. Yeah, man, that's so sad. We were so close too. We just need to figure out how to convert this one to a solid body. Try this. Let's deselect the cow for now. We can insert, thicken. I believe that the command that they recommended to us was a thicken tool, so it's in insert, boss, base, and then this guy. Okay. Well, we don't need it that thick. Here, try this. I think that should make it into a solid body, huh? Hopefully. So it's fine. We just have to go through those quick steps again, and then we should be out of here. Okay. Let's see. This is one of the many cons of working on a CAD model in a virtual machine on your laptop. This will take a second. Okay. I think I'll be going in about half an hour or so. I just need to fix the surface to be a solid, I think. And I think that should be it. This might take a second though. Um, this might actually take a lot longer than a second. I might have lied a little bit. Yeah, I probably lied. Whoops. Let's see then. How about we solidify the entire thing then? Any gaps? Any missing faces? I'm gonna wait in the background for the SolidWorks thing to do its business. It'll take some time though. I think that for the most part, it should be here. At least for the stitching command, it should be, at least, I believe. Should be. I don't really know what to do for it though, to be honest. Should be something though. I wonder, would it be possible? I don't think that's needed. Oh, maybe we can just make a body from that. Who knows? Yeah, this will take a while. I don't know. This might take just a second. Oh, man, so much waiting. Let's first see if we can patch fill it. I think that should be able to do something to create it into a solid question mark. But I'm not really sure, to be honest. Also, we probably should have moved the create coordinate side here. Yeah, there we go. And then I can move this one probably. Yeah. Sure thing, no worries. Alright, so I want to see now if I can select an enclosure question mark. Jeez. Super duper large. Okay. Okay. Ba-da-ba-da. I. I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? Let's save this one as a SolidWorks part file. Edit it to be solid, and then export it then as a step file. Yes. So let's try that. Okay. Hold up. Let's think. IPT to a solid body? Open dialog box. Options. Do 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 do. Da ba da ba da. So no, I really don't have anything, to be honest. Oh man, I should have checked the geometry before coming here. Uh-oh. Well, that's not too terribly great. Yeah, so, oh man, we have to figure out a way to get this to a solid body now. Alright, that's fine. Let's see. Maybe it's convert entities. No, I don't think so. I think it's, no, it's, yeah, I just have no idea. Oh man. Okay.
Wix gives you the freedom to tell your story.
Inside. So now we will use knit surface to convert it into solid. Select knit surface command, select all these surfaces and select create solid.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Okay, select merge entities, select OK from here, and now you can see that here we have the solid bodies folder. Before that it was surface body folder, and now we have solid body. Now we use knit surface. So first of all we will go to the plane surface and we will close this body completely, like select this edge and you can see surface has been made and our body is closed from here. Now I will select planar surface from here and select this edge, and now our first body is also closed. So now you can see this body is closed, but this is not a solid, this is hollow from inside. So now we will use knit surface to convert it into solid. Select knit surface command, select all these surfaces and select create solid.
Okay, let's see. So, if you want to create this one into a solid body instead of a surface body, I think that you can do this instead. Create solid. Interesting. Insert surface. Let's try to look something more recent.
Hi guys, welcome back. Dan here. And if we like this design, or if the customer likes this design, and we want, and if SolidWorks has a, so if we come up to the feature tree and delete that fitting feature, the next one we're going to do, we're going to come up to field surface. I'm going to right click on that edge and select open loop. And what we're essentially doing here is,
Okay, let's think. So, if you have all of this right here in the surface body, maybe one thing that you can do instead is just to fill. Nope. I see. So, not quite.
capping a solid. If SolidWorks has created a solid from the enclosed volume that we've created there. So again, that's pretty cool. The geometry we've got here, we can use the create solid button and tick OK. And we've got is we can, the next option you can knit the surfaces together, but without creating a solid. So in this instance, singular surfaces to solids.
Okay, I think that our best bet now is just to thicken it then. The reason why is because we can't really edit it from here, so I think that this is probably our best bet. Alright, so I have to go now, unfortunately. But at least now we know what's wrong, and it's that this is a hollow thing. It should be a full thing, I think. I'll see you guys on the next time. I'll probably be able to fix it by then. And we'll come back again to